Hey, Freedom to Be Nation. It's Tracy, your Freedom to Be recovery coach. I wanted to talk today a little bit about why the family needs to get involved in um, recovery and in counseling themselves. I think that a lot of times families or loved ones think that if they can get the person with the addiction into treatment and like send them off to treatment where they can get better and get healthy, that that person will then come back to them a healthy, healed person, and then the family can go on with a good life, or the friendship can go on, in a healthy way, or the marriage can go on in a healthy way when that one person, the addict, gets help and recovers. This is definitely not the norm. This is not usually what happens. What tends to happen is if the addict or the person, the alcoholic, the addict goes off to treatment and they do get better and they do recover and they do learn about their disease, and they learn about the coping mechanisms, they learn about their triggers, they begin to understand the roles that the people around them have played in their life and the way that those people affect their addiction. What happens is they come back to this system that has been broken. The family system has been broken. The friendship has been broken. The marriage has been broken. There's been dysfunctional relations going on in those systems because of the addiction. And so what happens is that person goes off to treatment, they come back, they have new coping skills, they're operating in a different way, and they take a look at the family system and they see that they don't fit into it the same way anymore. But the family wants them still to kind of play that same role. The family wants to go with the same dance that everybody has always been doing. Everybody knows the steps. They start to behave in the same way that they did before the person with the addiction went off to treatment. Maybe they start in with their suspicions, checking up on the person with the addiction, questioning the person with the addiction, or caretaking the person with the addiction. And the person with the addiction, if they truly are living in a new way and thinking in a new way, they're going to not appreciate that kind of behavior from the family anymore. And actually, what they'll end up doing is seeing that that behavior from their family or their loved ones is a detriment to them. It can be a trigger for them. And so a lot of times they'll retreat. That's why sometimes you'll see marriages fall apart after one person gets into recovery. The addict finally gets into recovery, and the person who has been begging, pleading, and wishing that their loved one would get sober is kind of left so confused, like, why has my marriage fallen apart now when my spouse is finally sober? And the reason for that is because the system needs to change. The relationship needs to change. Both people need to get treatment. Both people need to learn how to operate in this new system. You'll see it in families where the person with the addiction comes home, the family starts their usual dance and their usual roles. The person with the addiction realizes it's a danger to them, so they withdraw. Sometimes they'll leave the family. They'll isolate themselves from the family. So that's why they say alcoholism or addiction is a family disease, because everybody has adopted a behavior, a dysfunction. You'll hear about these, like in the psychological terms for the family roles of like the comedian, the hero, the lost child, the scapegoat. Everybody starts to play those particular roles. Those roles get very, very deeply ingrained in those family systems. And so if those individuals don't learn what role they've been playing, and they don't learn why they've played that role, and they don't learn how to change that role, the whole system will remain in this state of turmoil. That is what happens when the cyclone of addiction comes into a family. So when I work with families, a lot of times what they want is to stage an intervention, first of all, and think that, if they can get their loved one into treatment, everything will be fine. If I can just get my loved one sober, we can all be happy. And, I start to work with them on other ways to do things before an intervention happens, because an intervention on its own is not typically going to be long lasting success for the family. And that's really what you want, right? Is you want the whole family to get better. You want the whole marriage to get better, or the whole friendship to get better, right? So each person in that system has to do their job to recover and to learn the new way of living, so that that whole system, that whole organism can be functional together. So again, I just really, really urge you that if you are living with somebody who's an addict, an alcoholic, that you find treatment for yourself. There's so many great programs out there. There's Al-Anon, that's a free program. Al-Anon family groups, you can find that on, you just Google it, Al-Anon family groups. You'll find meetings all over the United States, all over the world. Getting into counseling, right? One-on-one, face-to-face counseling is super helpful. There are codependency groups that you can join. Another thing that is very, very helpful is for you to start attending open AA meetings, open Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Open meetings are where friends and family members of the alcoholic or the addict can go and listen to, the stories of the alcoholic or the addict, so that you can start to learn more about the addiction, and more about what these people in your life are going through. It's super helpful, and it's just so necessary if you want to have a successful recovery for the whole system, for the whole relationship. So yeah, I just really wanted to share that with you, and I really encourage you to find the individual help that you need so that the whole system can get into recovery. Thanks, and have a great day.